I would like to call our regular meeting of November 8th to order. May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Cooter?
Present.
Ms. Montse?
Present.
Ms. White? Present. Mr. McKevitt?
Present.
Ms. Freer? Present. Ms. Buckley?
Here.
Ms. Roscoe here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Kerr, are there any changes in the agenda?
No, there are not.
May I have a motion, please?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
Support.
Any questions on the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of our previous meeting minutes. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, October 25th of 2004.
Support. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Superintendent Carr?
Mr. Clark, personnel actions.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Members of the board, we have one personnel action tonight. It's for your information. It's the resignation of Ms. Angela Cosma, French Friar at the middle school, effective October 14th, 2004.
We're going to replace this position.
Yes, we are. Okay.
Is there any other questions on this FYI?
Thank you.
Mr. Ruth here, bills for payment.
Superintendent Carr, President Buckley, members of the Board of Education, we have your review and subsequent approval this evening. Registers totaling $1,055,323.77.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the bills for payment.
Support.
Any questions on the bills? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And the last item that I have for you this evening is approval of the winter levy. If you'll recall, the Board of Education back at its meeting in June set the levy for the summer. This is now the winter levy, which will take effect for the January, whenever the other half of the collection. We've also provided the Board of Education a 5 or 6 year summary relative to the amount of mills levied in any particular year, along with commercial property as well.
I make a motion that we accept the winter millage levy as Mr. Ruthier has explained.
Support.
Are there any questions on the winter levy? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Mr. Ruth.
Mr. Dolan.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr, members of the board. I'm pleased to present to you Mr. Horn in the Technology Committee, and Ed will go over the goals and vision for technology for the district and ask for your interaction. Ed.
Members of the board, central office administrators, and also those members of the community at home. I'm pleased to start off this presentation with a short video clip that sort of showcases what is happening here as far as technology in the district. What you saw there is basically a snapshot of what's going on here. I come here excited because I stand on the shoulders of a strong predecessor who had a passion towards a strong infrastructure, and setting that infrastructure up with software and hardware helps us to better take the ideas that people have done throughout the district and better implement them throughout the district. And one of the benefits I have is to come alongside a group of people who've had pockets of innovation throughout the district that have ultimately benefited the students, and yet come alongside them and become a team and help formalize a structural vision with them. Part of that team includes the members that are here. I'd like to first introduce Molly McGlynn, teacher at Corey Elementary, and then I'd like to continue on with Chris Smith, CSR facilitator at Barth Elementary. Continue on at the middle school, Andrea Yerk, special ed teacher at the middle school. Moving on to the high school, we have Alberta Garrett, media specialist at the high school. And then finally, network specialist Carol Hariff, who has service and will service our district in regards to technical support. One of the things you see here, what this slide reflects, is the vision of technology in Romulus Community Schools. In alignment and support with this board and also with Central Office Administration, we seek to progressively synergize educational technology. The packet that you have kind of describes that a little bit more comprehensively. We're going to provide a short snapshot of that. I'd like to start with the 4 goals for this year. Those goals include to enhance communication, also to enhance professional development, also continue on to enhance technical support, and finally to enhance our evaluation of our personnel and how we're using our equipment. One of the first things I'm going to speak about deals with the web. And what we want to do is come alongside a group of people who are passionate about showcasing Romulus to the world through cyberspace. And so what we try to do is paint a more accurate and a clearer picture of what's going on here at Romulus. So last week, we were able to bring to fruition a lot of months of work from a group of people called the Web Builders, who had a vision to communicate better with our parents and our students and the Romulus community and also the educational world. And so we, this month, are evaluating the initial launching of the web at www.romulus.net and continuing to sharpen it and expand it to, again, better reflect our school improvement goals and also our communication goals throughout the community. I'd like to continue this presentation by introducing, again, Molly McGlynn, who will talk about how that vision is fleshing itself out at the elementary level.
Thank you. I'm a 3rd grade teacher at Corey School. I'm real pleased to share with you some of the things we do that are innovative in our classroom. We have a lot of students that have information available at the touch of the fingertips. Anytime they would like, they can access things. As the election came up, we're able to see what happened with each and every state, create a map, practice our mapping skills, and look to see how each of our candidates fared with electoral votes. It's very exciting for our classroom because we have not only computers, we have laptops, we have PDAs, which are small miniature palms, which we spoke about before here, and also we now have a smart board. Our students like to step forward with this new technology. You'll see the 2 girls in the corner there. They're reading an electronic ebook. And what they're doing is they're looking at the words, reading it, highlighting words that have a certain letter pattern, practicing and decoding those words, and then also improving their comprehension when they've completed it. It really works good for us to level the children with different areas of books that fit them at their needs. We can also practice learning games to help them support that. We also like to use it to create math graphs using the smart board. It's kind of like a touch screen, like a giant computer that you could touch with your finger. You probably see people at McDonald's go up and order, and when they order, the cashier touches whatever you have. That's what a smart board is. The kids can just touch it and explore, and it pops right out at them. We've created math graphs. We've also created charts with it. We've also used it to do place value, move hundreds, tens, ones, thousands, so we can explore and support the math concepts. These girls are exploring an Underground Railroad site and making decisions as they touch the screen and moving from one step from down south all the way through Ohio, Michigan, through Lake Erie till they get to Freedom. And they can practice decision making along the way and create a map of where they've experienced things. There's also history along that website as they explored on the smart board. Our children also enjoy working with the computers, the laptops, and handhelds and showing their parents, as you probably saw on the first slide, a little girl with her aunt and her mom. And these are the PDAs they use, their palms. We've used them to practice our math facts, problem solve, read a lunar phases map. We've used them to keep track of animals that visit Corey School. We have possibilities now with the older kids to use them to learn about genetics, communicable diseases, and we've also gone on source hikes for light and sound. It's just exciting for the kids to hold things and touch them with their fingertips and to be able to explore. It kind of breaks down all the boundaries we have in our classroom. It's like a classroom without walls. As our kids explore new things, it helps them to support the curriculum that we have. And one of the places we went is we took down the walls of our classroom and we went to explore MapQuest. And what a MapQuest is, it's kind of a special place. You explore the web and you go ahead and you move along on the web as you explore different areas. We put in our address. We looked at an aerial view where our home was. We explored 2 different kinds of maps, political and physical, and then we looked at the United States and compared the boundaries and some of the landforms there. It really breaks down the walls of our classroom and gives the children a chance to explore things right in front of their eyes. These things couldn't be possible without the professional development we have, and I'd like to introduce Chris Smith, who's our CSR coordinator for Barth. That's really made this possible for many teachers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I'm happy to speak to you tonight regarding the comprehensive school reform effort. As you know, this is our 3rd and final year for several of the buildings on the comprehensive school reform effort, and I'm proud to say that we've seen great gains, great growth, and continued achievement for our students, for our parents, and for our teachers here as well. An important part of that is that those were our goals, to make sure that we created a connection between our home component, our school component, and our after-school possibilities and the things we were offering to our students. We really did a great job of combining and reallocating resources so that all of those things came together for our students in a way that they'd never done before, and that's the comprehensive part of our comprehensive school reform. The program currently, as I said, was in its last year, 3rd and final year for Barth, Romulus Elementary, and Corey Elementary, with Wick Elementary being finished out next year. We've seen a great success with working with other initiatives that are going on in the district right now to include the school improvement initiatives that we have currently underway, the transitions accreditation movement we've been moving towards for the last 5 years, and also the, sorry, I had to look at my notes, child study, which has actually taken root at most of the elementary schools around the district. Last year, we were able to start working with Merriman and Hale Creek to bring on some of those buildings using Compass Learning Odyssey, and we're now making lessons that were created under the CSR grant available to these other buildings. So we're sharing the knowledge across the different buildings to all the teachers in the district using a great resource and a great tool in Compass Learning Odyssey. The future of the CSR program really lies with the teachers and the students moving forward and continuing what they've already learned. Our teachers are going to have the responsibility of taking the technology training they've gotten and pushing the limits and the boundaries of what they already know. They have been given the tools with which to build and develop and share more with their colleagues. The students themselves already have high expectations of using technology on a daily basis, and they will take that with them as they move forward to the middle school. And with that, I'll turn it over to the middle school to Andrea Yard.
I teach special ed language arts at the middle school, and we have some special things that we do in my classroom, but I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of some of the things we do school-wide. One of the things that was made available to us was United Streaming, and that is educational videos that are provided online that can be downloaded into individual classrooms, varying all different types of concepts. Predominantly, they're used in science and social studies. We also have computer labs where people go and have their students do research, make PowerPoint presentations, write essays, and also use Publisher to create brochures for different things, activities they're doing. One of the exciting things our students were able to do this year with the presidential election is Channel 1 did a mock election online, and so all the students in the middle school were able to vote for who they felt should be president, and there was a big finale at the end, and they kind of showed how everyone that participates with Channel 1 voted. One of the things that we're focusing on our school improvement goals this year is using Inspiration. And Inspiration is a software that helps students develop concepts, developing their ideas for their writing, relating concepts from different subject areas, comparing and contrasting, doing cause and effect, characterization. Those are just some of those areas. If you would click to the next slide. For example, this is a sample Inspiration web, and it's a basic Venn diagram, though typically you would see 2 circles interjoined for a Venn diagram. Here they have the similarities in the middle, and then off to the side the differences, comparing a character named Jonas and a character named Sal from the books The Giver and Walk Two Moons. There's so many possibilities for using Inspiration, and the school improvement goals that we are addressing this year are all students will show improvement in reading comprehension across curriculum by using concept maps. All students will show improvement in critical thinking skills with organization and study habits. And all students will show improvement in their writing skills using inspiration as a pre-writing tool. And all of those areas are addressed and can be addressed using inspiration. Moving on to some things in my class, I tend to use the laptops a lot more often than I use the kayaks. I use inspiration, we write essays, we have done a web quest last year, and occasionally I throw in a little reward time for some of my students. Last year I attended McCall, which is a computer conference for Michigan teachers who use technology, and I got very lucky and won a system called a CPS system, Classroom Performance System. It's a $4,000 bag with 32 of these little blue remotes. And what you can use these for are for tests and quizzes and surveys, random selection of students so you're not calling on the same 4 kids all the time. And I have students last year who, once I received these, I brought them home with me in March, set it up in my classroom computer, and I have students who absolutely refuse to participate unless we were using these, so I really had to use them a lot. But they're a lot of fun. They get the kids really motivated. Some really nice aspects for teachers, you get automatic feedback as you go through your questions. At the end of the questions, you click a button, and it tells you how many students answered each choice, what the correct answer was, and it gives you percentages of your question correct and your total cumulative score. And then at another press of a button, you get a nice little graph, and the kids just love to look at the graphs and charts and talk about what the correct answers are. It's instantaneous teachable moments. You get to readdress issues if you have most of your students not getting an answer correct. You can go right back to it because they've already had their opportunity to choose their answer, and then it's stopped, and so then you go on and talk about what the answer was. As a teacher, I can use the reports section to print study guides individually based on each child, how well they did or how poorly they did. Item analysis, you can automatically put it into its own grade book, and it exports into Microsoft Excel. So you can import it into other grade books as well. One of the new things I'm starting this year is to do a service learning project in collaboration with Learning to Give. And one of my classes is going to be developing a digital video orientation for the special education 6th graders that are coming up for the following year. And it'll be in addition to what we normally do, just to kind of see how this works and if it gives them a little bit different feel. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Alberta Garrett from the high school. She'd like to talk about some of the opportunities they have there.
Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you again. You have a copy of a letter in your packet in front of you that's going out to all the parents in the next school newsletters, next parent newsletters from each building. It's introducing the World Book Online database reference collection to the community of parents in our district. It was purchased for the district-wide use, elementary through high school, and K through 3 was free, and we only had to pay 4th through 12th grade, very minimal cost for all of our students. This database contains all of the World Book encyclopedias that we're used to seeing in the hard print volumes. We now have access to them online, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and it's brought to parents by the Romulus Community School District. We want them to remember, though, that this password and ID is for our community only. We don't want to risk having it used outside of our district, so because we could lose our at-home access if they do pass it out. We also include a 24-hour hotline that parents have questions when they're using it. They can also call the Media Center as well. Another database I'd like to tell you about is called MEL from the state of Michigan, Michigan Electronic Library, that's free. With MEL, we have test preparation materials available to students. Students can use it to prepare for the ACT, SAT, or, yes. And we have 2 students who have been who used it for 2 weeks consecutively every afternoon in the Media Center. They were there practicing using the ACT prep. The thing about it, it is really an independent learning piece. You can't force them to come in. So but these young ladies came in on their own and both said to me that they felt it made a difference when they went to take the SAT. So I hope the word gets out to all of our other students as well. I'd also like to tell you about Alpha Smarts and helping to bridge that gap of computer access at home. We offer to our students Alpha Smart, which is an electronic keyboard that they can carry home and word process their papers. No, it's not the internet. It's just for word processing. We had very good success with it last year. I tried it with our seniors when they were doing their senior project, and it has a little carrying case. They thought they had a laptop in their hand. They went at home with it, did their papers, and would bring it back the next morning, and we would download their work to this network, and they could format the paper, print it out, and turn it in.
How many do we have?
I have 18 at the high school, and they check it out overnight only. I'm not brave enough yet to say for a whole week or 2 weeks at a time, but that way I know they're bringing it back the next morning and checking out their materials. And finally, we, like the high school, also did the Channel 1 vote and had very good success with that. With the National Honor Society, did a live broadcast throughout the building, instructing the students on how to vote and where to go and vote. And when we were given the date of November 18th as our professional development day for the staff at the high school, I was very excited because we don't get a lot of that time lately. Most of it's for NCA. But Ed and I, Mr. Horn, got together and brainstormed on what we could do for that day. And we came up with Infusion Bowl, thinking it's football season, why not have a bowl theme to it? So we're going to take that half day. We recruited from within the district our facilitators, people that you see here tonight. Some of the people you see here tonight will be doing the facilitating of those sessions for all the secondary teachers in the district. We will have 15 sessions going, hour and 20 minutes per session, so that teachers would really have an opportunity to spend some time working with the technology that's in their department, as well as that technology that they're expected to use in their everyday learning and teaching. And with that, I will move on to what kind of tech support we've got coming for next year or in the future. Kara Harris.
Good afternoon, and it's nice to see all of you. Right now, we have a centralized management system, which means at each building there's a media technician that takes replies from teachers on problems they're having with either hardware or software. That technician will do her best to solve those problems at that level. However, if she cannot provide that service, then she calls myself or Mr. Horn or Mr. Rossman. We tend to centralize that work and kind of deviate it by, I do more of the hardware aspects. They're having difficulty with the actual machinery. Mr. Rossman does more of the software end, and Mr. Horn oversees both of us, so he does a pretty good job at that. And during that aspect, if a media tech should call me that they have a problem, it's my responsibility to call them back or email them, whichever way they have responded to me, with either a solution or a physical visit to that building. Sometimes they need training. You know, we're all busy and they don't always have the tools that they need, so it's my job or Mr. Rossman's job to go there and provide them the support they need. If at that time that solution is not provided for them, then I take that one step farther and call a vendor. We have IT vendors and we have machinery vendors and Dynacom vendors. It's my job to kind of bring that all to one location and call them in so that we can solve all the problems in all the building with one phone call instead of each building doing individual calls and wasting valuable time for the vendor. So from that point on, then we're now evaluating software that will provide us more of a database of what needs to be done, what's not been done, instead of relying just on strictly an email. This would be a piece of software that would keep more of a track of things. We could also put on there our hardware that we have, like I may have 10 hard drives. They'll know I have 10 hard drives that we can use for parts. So if in the future, that's where we'd like to go, and we're evaluating software and possibly even creating ourselves. Mr. Horn will tell you about that now.
I want to take a quick moment to show you the glimpse of the future as far as what we're going to do with technical support. So let the clip show that. We'll go back one more. We'll try it again.
Creating a shortcut for Microsoft Word is a simple process. To begin, click on the Start menu located in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Then move your mouse up to Programs and locate Microsoft Word in this menu. Once you locate Microsoft Word, simply highlight it and right-click. This will bring up another menu. At this stage, move your mouse up to Send To and locate Desktop Create Shortcut. Simply highlight Desktop Create Shortcut and left-click. This will create a Microsoft Word shortcut on your desktop.
What we try to do is take innovative products and bring them together to help us to do our jobs better. Carol, Phil, 6 other media techs, and media specialists, media aides around the district cannot service, it all without, tools and those type of things. And one of the tools is a project called PD Producers, which we did this summer, which using Camtasia Studio to put in one spot technical support. Many of you are parents, and sometimes you got to tell your kids over and over and over again. Well, same thing in technology. You have to tell the clients over and over again certain things, and they feel bad about asking all the time. And and we try to service them best we can. Now we put that information in one central location, show them how to get to it, and then organize and say, here's how you open up your email. Here's how you send an attachment, and that's the kind of piece that we're working on in the future. Also, we're looking at some of the items mentioned up here. I like to highlight. Enhancing the web, looking to impact other areas of technical support in regards to the food service area as well. So as we wrap up and summarize what the technology vision is, I'd like to focus back on those 4 corners. Again, we exist to progressively synergize educational technology, and those 4 corners are to enhance communication, professional development, technical support, as well as evaluation. I'd like to thank you for your time and open up any question that you have for me, and we'll go from there.
Any questions, board members?
I had one of the middle school, your inspiration program. Is that adaptable for all level of students?
There's inspiration that can be purchased for all grade levels. There's also a version for younger children called Kidspiration.
So we have something that will cover pretty much everybody then?
I'm not 100% sure if the high school has the software district-wide.
I think we all do.
Okay. I know the middle school has, the whole entire middle school has a building site license, and it's being worked on developing that further.
One of the cool things I had to work out last week with some of the vendors for the Infusion Bowl is that we have vendor support, and Inspiration is actually co-sponsoring Andrea's session called Inspire Me. And so they're providing door prizes and different tips and some of the latest upgrades that are out there for Inspiration. That'll be a fantastic inspiration for those teachers, using that word over and over again, I guess.
Ms. White?
Yes, I have a question. The World Book Line, is that just available for high school students to use?
No, that's district-wide.
Wow, because
Yes.
this is the first time I'm hearing of it, and I know
Yes.
even at the elementary level and the middle school, they have to do like these big science projects for
Right,
science night and
exactly,
stuff like that.
exactly.
So this is an excellent resource.
It is. We purchased it for the entire district. Remember, grades K through 3 were free, and then we paid a minimal cost based on last year's enrollment for the total cost for the district. Yes.
Yeah.
So please take it home and try
Well,
it
I'm
out.
gonna take it home with me. I mean, it just would be a good resource. Maybe they just need to send it like a one-pager out at the elementary level. Just
When
to
did
let-
you send it out, Alberta?
Have we
tonight?
had
Ooh.
this?
Just this year.
So it's just going out now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I
Yep.
was going to say, I'm like,
Don't yell at Lynn already.
well, no, I just know I read, and I'm like, whoa.
And one of the things you have in your packet is the monthly technology tips, and we want to look to use that as a monthly technology tip to inform our teachers and also spread out via the web. It's already going out, like you said, in some of the parent newsletters out that way.
Where are you at with the website? You might want to update them on that.
Yeah, we're at phase 1 of the web page. Some people, type in www.romulus.net and see it, and it's like, oh, that's not different. That's not the white screen I'm used to with the, the picture of the board office there. So we're in phase 1, where we try to get the essentials out, try to represent best we can each page. We're checking over the links this month, and then we're going to formally market it in December, align with the strategy you see here. So we'll try to, align it with communication at home. In the athletic page, you look on directions. There are directions to our major opponents to and from how to get there, which is a huge resource for the parents. We're trying to make sure that every teacher at least has a page where they can, you can see the teacher, their name and their email address that way. Again, enhancing communication. Also, professional development, the Media Center. Part of the Infusion Bowl Alberta session is called Web Builders. Putting teachers together, locking the doors and saying, okay, you're going to help us to build this web page based on the best resources in your expertise. And so that's another feature that we're doing.
Another question I have, Madam Chair. In terms of, at the conference, we were talking about it this weekend, some districts have websites and they're not quite secure where the parents can actually go and look at the kids' grades online. Where are we going that way? I mean, I think I would feel more comfortable if the website was secure versus being non-secure, but some districts are kind of moving towards that where parents can click in and check up on the kids in terms of the grades that they have.
Yeah, I'm hearing you say a legitimate concern about, security, and we value making sure things are secure. So the web page is purely a commercial interface with showing you what is out there, who our teachers are, what our building's doing, and it's no great interface at this point at all. So you really can't access anyone's grades. It doesn't tap into our database.
So is that like a future thing, futuristic?
It hasn't been visited yet at all.
Okay. All right.
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
On the web page, you're creating it. Now, do you become owner of that web page, or can some other school district, say, tap into it and then use your stuff and just put in their name and their pictures or whatever?
It's a good question. We took a lot of our things from inspiration from other schools throughout the nation, even at the university level. And so they can definitely take concepts and designs and, do that, and that's just a part of the practice in the web world. Yet they can't, obviously steal our address and steal, our pictures and pages without, giving credit that way, at least legally. And also, as far as any kind of security, it's pretty much on our server. We have a web server that's totally dedicated to our web project. So it's secure that way as far as being able to tap into that web server. Any user can manipulate what they have, but it doesn't affect our server.
I had an opportunity to look at the webpage. Initially, it really looks great. I'm really excited about it. So I encourage you to go on and take a look at it and see what you think. I'm sure Ed will like your feedback. But
It is
Definitely.
it is good.
We're looking at, there's a packet there that says special thanks, and it's by no means exhaustive, but it talks about all the people who stepped out of their normal roles to really make this thing happen. And I'm just so thankful for this group and thankful for the team that, I'm working with.
If I could, if you've ever been at the high school, and I know Alberta's here, from about 7:30 to probably 4 o'clock, those rooms are full of kids using our technology, and Alberta personally extends herself and has extended herself for many years. But our kids are using the technology now, and I was really pleased to see that you have another innovation with the kids bringing home the laptops, or the modified laptops. I think that's great. And I look at Molly. Molly went out and got grants to help support it. And she doesn't talk about it, but she's doing some innovative things, and certainly Chris is doing innovative things with the CSR. I don't know that you know that in Ed didn't have time to talk about or brag about a lot of things going on, but we're putting the quarterly assessments on. We're doing electronic online testing. It is very, very impressive what's going on with the technology. I think we have some of the best users in the world of teachers. I mean, we have trained our teachers well, and we've gone from the theory to the application, and it's very impressive. The money's your money, your investment has turned into a major application for our kids and our students. Our kids are great users, and our teachers are, so you're doing a great job, all you are. And Carol's all over the place, of course. Of course, omnipresent.
Whole another story.
Yes, Mr. McCavitt.
We have a technology plan. How old is our technology plan?
That's a great question. Technology plan was written in 2003, extends to 2006, but yet our vision and goal is to try to shape that to better reflect what we're doing right now. And so you can actually, via the old web, you can access it, and we'll make sure that's available on the new web as well.
Now, you say until 06?
Yes.
Now, then you'll redo it again?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was at the conference this weekend at a technology session, and they were saying that you need to revisit your plans probably every couple of years because technology is changing that fast. So we're going to be able to keep up with that then.
You've got a pretty good committee that meets monthly, right?
Yes.
Which includes the board members on it.
Right, and that committee meets to review all the different programs that we try to flesh out here, and they put their spin on it from different lenses, from a community lens to a teacher lens to an administrative lens to all these type of lenses that help to make sure that we're comprehensive in that approach. But as you mentioned, that's a future goal to make sure that reflects a progressively synergized world, which we're trying to model but yet apply to education.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Great
All right.
job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, folks, all of you.
Thank you.
And if you get a chance, stop in for the Fusion Bowl. That should be great. It's on the afternoon of the 18th.
The next item is the resolution for the Michigan School Readiness Program grant. We've had a Michigan School Readiness Program going on for a number of years. This is a resolution that's legally required for us to get this entitlement grant of $118,800.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
Any questions on the grant? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. We have no need for an executive session tonight. It's not on the agenda.
Okay.
My report's finished.
I have no communications from the public in front of me, so. Questions and concerns of board members? Do I have any comments? Yes, Ms. Manassi.
Okay, I got a couple things. First of all, you asked us to periodically make reports on our committees.
Yes.
The Climate Committee is going over their crisis response report right now, getting it ready to put in compact form for all the schools. They also are doing the homeland security in all the schools right now. And I think that's real nice. They've already done Barth, and I guess Barth passed really nice. And, there's so much that they have to know. Everybody has to know, where the turnoff valves are, and, not everybody knows that, but they should. Okay, the other thing I received some phone calls, Mr. Ruthier, from our cafeteria people. And I'd like to know, please, if you could explain what's going on. They're talking about some equipment that's being put in, chutes, etc. They're changing the way they're doing things, so could you please explain this? I understand, though, I see we have a couple cafeteria people here. You are going to be trained thoroughly in this. I did ask the girls that I spoke to please go to their manager, or whoever he is, and ask him or her to take them to show how this is done. Could you explain some of this to me?
Last week, Glenn Nua, who is the director of the food service operation at the high school, and I went over to Pioneer High School in Ann Arbor. And they're about to unveil, if you will, a new program and how to, it's a different approach, it's a different appearance on how food will be presented. There's going to be 4 or 5 different areas. They call it something different than the way that it is now. It's just a matter of presentation. There'll be some custom aspects so that a student could go up and say, I want a grilled hamburger with cheese. There'll be some on-the-spot things that can happen that way. There'll be a lot of items that they can self-serve. It's just a matter of trying to do a different way of presenting food and trying to get students involved with it so that, you know, it goes easier, it looks nicer, more students appreciate it more and want to participate in the food service program. It's done very well in Ann Arbor, where we saw the orientation of that. They're set up a little bit differently. It's a little easier for them to do that by the way that the cafeteria is laid out. Ours won't flow quite as well, but the intent is to encourage students to become more involved in the food service operation, and it's just a matter of presentation and how lunches are going to be served at the middle school and at the secondary level only. There is additional training that I approved on Friday for all of the cafeteria and middle school staff that will be involved with this program. They'll train the people first, and within a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, then they'll roll the program out. They have some signage and some custom work just to help make the atmosphere of the cafeteria more conducive to a restaurant style of arrangement. It just helps to facilitate the serving of food and the different options that are available to students.
Now, are they going to need any more help in the cafeteria with this?
I would think not.
Yeah.
If they will, the communication I had was not for additional staff. It was just to train existing staff one time for a matter of a few hours. It wasn't to grow the staff in any way.
And this training class you say is going to be?
It would be in addition to.
No, when?
Oh, it's coming up within a week or two.
If I can interrupt, I talked with, at the Michigan Association of School Board conference this weekend, I talked with the people from the food service, and they gave me specific dates of November 15th to the 17th. The 2 ladies that I talked to gave me every indication they were going to be the ones coming out doing the training, and they were actually doing some meals and things like that and giving you food to eat at the conference. So they said that they definitely will be here to train, and they did make the mention of the 15th to the 17th. And so I told them I'd probably see them then.
That's right. So that's what it's about,
Okay.
and that's who's involved in it.
Have you been told about these training classes, Mrs. Redmond, Mrs. Knight?
Yeah, I'm going probably, I've been approved to go to a school and see how the operation.
Okay, that's good.
We're gonna start the program serving this next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be
Okay.
quite a few changes, so what I
Yeah.
see, how they're going to make, like you to.
Sure.
Okay. I know how hard it is for people to accept changes, but sometimes changes are better, and, you know, as long as you people aren't injured, that's the main thing, and we want to improve. As I said, I think they're doing this because we were very adamant about eliminating a lot of the entrees that you had to serve, and I really think this is why this is coming to be. Well, I think coming down the line, it might, and you might find that out, Mrs. Redmond. I hope.
It should be, it's well received by the students at Pioneer, and there'll be some confusion at first for the first couple of days until the students acclimate themselves to which line they should be in for which product. But once they've done that, you know, and they figure that out for themselves, and our students are very bright students and capable learners. Once they know that, then they'll just go to wherever they need to go in order to get the food item that they're after. It should be very, very good and very rewarding, and it should work very well for us.
I hope so.
And I do too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. McCavick, Ms. White, did you have something?
You can go first.
Oh,
Okay.
I was going to give a quick touch on a couple of things that came out at the conference. Most of the sessions were really good. Picked up a lot of good information. The downside of that, well, before I get to that, I probably should tell you this one. It blew my mind. Grand Rapids Public Schools. They were there, they did a little report that they had finally passed some bond issues. For years they couldn't pass them, they finally passed them. But one of the things they pointed out to me was that 50% of their students do not attend public schools in Grand Rapids. 50% do not attend. And then they were stressing the fact that there are over 50 different languages as a native language in the community of Grand Rapids, which, you know, kind of struck me as, I don't know how you'd handle some of that. The bad part of the conference was that some people from Lansing were there. Projected budget is worse than anticipated because they had a huge downturn in income for the months of September and October. Now, they're just starting the new year. And right away, one of the things that would be hit would be education. They were talking of possible cuts of anywhere from $75 to $125 per student on the state aid fund. What else was there?
Well, Ken and I had an opportunity, we went to a class regarding public relations and public relations with your community, and just an introductions about the relationships you have with your community and your fellow board members. I'm proud to say that we are doing pretty well. I mean, there were horror stories in the room in relationship to communities and board members and things like that, and it's like when they got to me, I'm like, oh, I really don't have any, you know, problems. So I think that we're doing a good job, and we have a really good board that, you know, that communicates good with the public, and we're doing the best we can with what we have to work with, and sometimes it's not as quick or fast as people would like it to be, but we are making all the efforts that we can to improve our district and also to improve our system. Another thing that struck me when all the districts were up there getting their excellence awards, and there's some great things that we're doing here, so I think maybe if we could sit down and maybe apply for one of those excellence awards. I know we've gotten it before in past years, but I mean, we're right on track and maybe in front of some of those other districts, so I just kind of want to
We've
close
been
that.
very successful in
Yeah.
getting those awards even at the national level.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
Naomi, I want to say, as long as I've been on the board, and as many of the board members that I've been with, it's always been the same climate. It's always been excellent. We've always gotten along. Nothing was dragged out in the public. I don't ever remember that we've ever had any horrible disputes in regards to anything, and I've always been proud of that.
That's your public relations,
Yeah, I do have a couple other
Go right
things.
ahead.
Before we get into, in talking with school board members from all over the state, their biggest concern that they have right now, I mean, funding is obviously it, but it's mandated that we fund the retirement system. And school boards all over the state are saying if there isn't something adjusted there, they're going to be in huge financial difficulties because this drain on their income as far as retirement money is just out of sight right now, and it's eating up a big chunk of their budget. A couple of the classes that we took, one of them was on media relations, and I picked up
I failed the test, by the way.
for everyone here, a little quick guide as to if you get caught up with an interview, you know, how to get prepared for it and some things and do's and don'ts. So I'll pass out that afterwards. And I have a couple other things that I was going to pass out. One was a little short paragraph dealing with what goes into the state aid, where the money comes from what programs and so on. And the other one was an inspirational speaker, a coach, Ken Carter, who took a basketball program that probably basketball-wise was successful, but academically was terrible. He's not a teacher, and he hired in as their basketball coach, goes into the building, meets with the parents, the athletes, and himself, and they sign a contract. And without getting into too much detail, because this is a movie coming out in January on his story, it's called Coach. But he wanted every student to have a 2.3 grade point average as a minimum. And the parents and the student and the coach signed a contract. His end of it was, if you do that, you will get to go to college. He would find a way, either scholarships or he would fund that they would go to college. They start off the year in basketball. Varsity team is 13-0. JV team is 13-0. Freshman team is 13-0. He finds a couple students that do not have a 2.3. So he locks the gym. There's no basketball practice. He takes all the athletes to the media center. He is getting people to help him tutor the students. And I guess he got in a little trouble with the state association because he forfeited some basketball games because he refused to let them have basketball if they weren't going to do the academics. And at the end of the story, there was like 42 athletes involved in this program. They all attended college. So there is a movie coming out. Samuel Jackson is going to be playing the coach, and it comes out, I think, in January. But tremendous speaker. So I've got some handouts for you for that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that report. Anybody got anything else? Yes, Ms. Stewart.
Yeah, well, the Romulus Flyers have a freshman football squad and cheerleaders, and they'd like to say thank you to the transportation department for supplying a bus at short notice, because it really got the boys focused and the girls focused for the game on Saturday, and now they're going to the playoffs. So
Championship.
correction, championship. I'm sorry,
Big
but
difference.
there was 42 kids on the bus that attend Romulus schools, and all the parents really appreciated it, and it also gave the kids another means in case the weather was bad to get out of it and kind of get focused on the second half of the game, which luckily we didn't need it. So.
Great. Anything else? Okay. Motion.
Like to motion to adjourn? Oh,
Second.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn. Okay. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.